Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 331, Perfect Partners. Intermediate. Margaret and Tom had been together for over 40 years. They met in their early 20s and had been inseparable ever since. Now in their 60s, they were still just as in love as the day they met. Their children often joked that they were the definition of couple goals. One evening as they were watching TV, a commercial for a new game show caught their attention. The show, called Perfect Partners, was looking for couples to participate in a fun challenge to test how well they knew each other. Margaret and Tom thought it sounded like a great idea and decided to apply. To their surprise and delight, they were selected to be contestants. On the day of the show, Margaret and Tom arrived at the studio, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. They were greeted by the show's host, a charismatic man named Jack, who explained the rules. Each of them would be asked 3 questions about their partners separately. Later, they would compare their answers to see if they matched. To win the prize, they needed to get at least 4 matches. The show began, and the audience cheered as Margaret and Tom took their seats on stage. Jack welcomed them warmly and introduced them to the viewers. Margaret and Tom, it's great to have you here. Are you ready to find out just how well you know each other? Jack asked with a smile. We're ready, Margaret and Tom replied in unison, holding hands tightly. Jack started with Margaret. She was taken to a soundproof booth so she couldn't hear Tom's answers. Jack then turned to Tom and began asking the questions. Tom, what is Margaret's favourite book? Tom thought for a moment before answering. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Jack nodded and moved on to the next question. What is Margaret's favourite meal? Tom smiled confidently. She loves a good roast dinner with all the trimmings. Great. And the final question for you, Tom. What is the one thing Margaret always says she couldn't live without? Tom chuckled. Our morning walks together in the park. With Tom's answers recorded, it was now Margaret's turn. She was brought back to the stage and Tom was taken to the soundproof booth. Jack asked Margaret the same 3 questions. Margaret, what is Tom's favourite book? Margaret thought for a moment and then answered, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Jack smiled and moved to the next question. What is Tom's favourite meal? Margaret answered confidently. He loves fish and chips, especially when we have them by the seaside. And finally, Margaret, what is the one thing Tom always says he couldn't live without? Margaret smiled warmly. His record collection. He loves his vinyl records. With Margaret's answers recorded, it was time for the big reveal. Tom was brought back to the stage and the audience waited eagerly to see if their answers would match. Jack started with the first question. Margaret, what is Tom's favourite book? Margaret answered, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Tom grinned. That's right, 1 match. The audience applauded and Jack moved on to the next question. Tom, what is Margaret's favourite book? Tom replied, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Margaret's eyes lit up. Correct, 2 matches. The excitement in the studio was building. Jack asked the next question. Margaret, what is Tom's favourite meal? Margaret answered, Fish and chips, especially when we have them by the seaside. Tom nodded enthusiastically. Absolutely, 3 matches. The tension was palpable as Jack asked the final question. Tom, what is the one thing Margaret always says she couldn't live without? Tom answered, Our morning walks together in the park. Margaret's face broke into a wide smile. Yes, that's it. The audience erupted in cheers as Jack announced, That's 4 matches. Congratulations, Margaret and Tom. You've won the prize. Margaret and Tom embraced, their hearts full of joy. They had proven that even after 40 years, they still knew each other inside out. The prize was a luxury weekend getaway, but for them, the real reward was the reaffirmation of their deep bond and love. Vocabulary notes. Inseparable. meaning unable to be separated or parted. Example, they met in their early 20s and had been inseparable ever since. Similar words, indivisible, united, close-knit. Charismatic, meaning having a compelling charm that inspires devotion in others. Example, they were greeted by the show's host, a charismatic man named Jack. Similar words, charming, captivating, magnetic. Soundproof, meaning designed to prevent sound from entering or leaving. Example, she was taken to a soundproof booth so she couldn't hear Tom's answers. Similar words, insulated, acoustically protected, noise-proof. Confidently, meaning in a self-assured manner with confidence. Example, Tom smiled confidently. She loves a good roast dinner with all the trimmings. Similar words, assuredly, self-assuredly, assertively. Reaffirmation, meaning the act of asserting something again, often more strongly. Example, the real reward was the reaffirmation of their deep bond in love. Similar words, confirmation, reinforcement, renewal. Charismatic, meaning exuding a special magnetic charm or appeal. Example, they were greeted by the show's host, a charismatic man named Jack. Similar words, charming, captivating, magnetic. Enthusiastically, meaning in a way that shows intense and eager enjoyment, interest or approval. Example, Tom nodded enthusiastically. Absolutely, 3 matches. Similar words, eagerly, excitedly, zealously. Applauded, meaning to show approval or praise by clapping. Example, the audience applauded and Jack moved on to the next question. Similar words, clapped, cheered, praised. Embraced, meaning held closely in one's arms, especially as a sign of affection. Example, Margaret and Tom embraced, their hearts full of joy. Similar words, hugged, held, clasped. Story written by Copilot AI and Steve UK, because on this occasion Copilot was better than Google Gemini. Images created by Designer AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
Hello, this is Steve. If you enjoyed the story, please would you take the time to leave a meaningful comment and click on the like icon. If you want to know when the next story has been uploaded, please click on the notify bell icon to be notified. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tell your English learning friends so they can benefit too. Thank you.